Hi, this is Susan Blue Robot from SusanBlueRobot.com. I'm here today with another card making video. This is the third in a series of 180-degree pop-up cards made with Pop-Up Card Studio. Once again, I will mention that this is with version 1.01, which meaning that there is a bit of tweaking to do in Make the Cut to turn it into a pop-up card. But we'll get started for those who can't wait for the new versions of Pop-Up Card Studio, and you can get making 180-degree pop-ups as well. I am using Make the Cut's Pop-Up Card Studio and Make the Cut. This is the card that I'm doing now, arched with a view, and I have to say, yes, I picked a robot for mine, but I'd love to see this sort of card with lots of different things you can view in the side. When it came to picking what I was going to put in my card, of course it had to be a robot, which you see. Now, this card does not have a gap. It's designed with no gap. If you design it with a gap, then this all buckles. The last one all buckles when it's open and shutting. So this one, the back and front get joined all the way down the whole back and front. I've learnt. If you see this one had two bigger gap. This was the first prototype I did. When I did pull this back apart, which was very difficult, and then I put it together, this was a complete and utter mess that I ended up throwing it out. But this was using the same idea, only making it smaller, and this one had a gap which it just didn't work for me. So we'll get started. We'll go back onto the one that we are making, which is this one here. And so what we need to do is go over here to 180-degree pop-up, and we're going to have a 5-inch card by 5-inch card, and we're going to have a gap of 0. I thought, yes, you could design it with a gap, and then when it just comes to putting it together, you could just glue them together and it wouldn't make a difference. And it's not much fun when you get making a card that's got a lot more detail than this robot one that I've done, and you find that you shouldn't have designed it with a gap. So we'll get started. We can create that one, and here's what we have so far. If I was to open this card flat, we have the bottom, the front bottom, the front back, the rear back, and the rear bottom. So we'll put that back together, and we'll start. Now, this is, we've got to start on a plane of 0 on the front back, and we're going to bring in the shape we want. So I'm going to bring in, under the generic, this half rounded rec, and we're going to turn that 90 degrees 3 ways, and we're going to make that 5 inches with the lock aspect ratio correct. We're going to trim off the top because we're going to need each of them trimmed off the top for the anchors to the back. So now what we do is we select that. We now go back and make it 5 inches high. Hit the enter. I'm going to take the lock aspect ratio off, and I'm going to make it narrower than the 5 inches. I found that easier than trying to have it exactly 5 inches wide to the back of the 5 inches wide card. This, yes, I needed that to be exactly 5 inches high, but a tip for you all is you really need this little tiny space either side for the trimming and for different reasons, which will become apparent when I do other videos of 180-degree cuts, but providing there's not too many changes to a new version. So we put that in the center and to the bottom plane. Now, while we're here, bring in an auto quad, 2-point rec, it's dotted both ways. Then what I'm going to do with that just selected, I'm going to put that to the bottom. Right, now this is a tip that I learned from Andy in a webinar, and I started using this idea and it was much easier. What I'm going to do is do a snapping of 1/4 of an inch. Okay, then what I do is just select the half rectangle arch. Well, I'll call it an arch. The arch. Do a copy and a paste. Then that pasted one, I'm going to bring it down 1/4, in 1/4, in 1/4. Right, put that in the center and down the bottom. Okay. So now that one there, the other one is not exactly 1/4 on each side because we've trimmed off some each side. But what we do now is we go copy, paste. Now with that one, we bring it down 1 notch because you're on 1/4 of an inch snapping. It's only going to come in 1/4 of an inch. We're going to come in 1/4 inch on the 3 sides, not the 4th side. And then we're going to go copy that one, paste that one. And we're doing all this prep work on the O plane because it does make it a lot easier. So it was good that Andy had showed you all that trick. So then I'm just repeating what he had said over the webinar. So we go copy that one, paste that one, and then we move the 3 sides in. See, it's snapping to the 1/4 inch. Oops. It's snapping to the 1/4 inch. And we need, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need one more. So we go copy that one, paste that, and we're going to bring that down the 1/4, that in the 1/4, that in the 1/4. So now they're all on the bottom plane. So what we're going to do is we're going to select this one and the outer one by holding the shift down, and we're going to go a Boolean join on that one. Boolean join difference, apply. Then what we're going to do is we're going to select all of them. We're going to go copy. Then we're going to go to the the rear back. Spin this around so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to go paste in place, flip vertically, and we're going to go in the center and down to the bottom. So we've now just pasted what we had in the front to the back, ready to use, and we can come back and do that one. Having them all set up here, then we don't have to think once we start putting the card together. So we're going to go back to the start. Hang on, we'll push the panic button, that will take us back to the front. Right, so now what we do, I'll just zoom in so you can see what I'm doing, is I'm going with the select tool, I'm going to select all but the outer one. So I've got these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 6 selected. I'm going to go cut. I'm going to go click on this once, up. So because it's on the 1/4 inch snapping, it's going to go 1/4 inch out. So then we're going to go paste in place. Then we're going to select all but the top one on that layer, the back one on that layer, and we're going to go cut them. We're going to go up one click up here, which takes it out another 1/4 inch, and we're going to go paste in place. Then we're going to deselect and select all but the backmost one on that layer. We're going to go cut, up arrow once, paste in place, deselect all but the topmost back one. We go cut, up arrow 1, paste in place, deselect. We're going to select the last 2. We're going to go cut, up arrow 1, which makes it now that you are on the 1.25. We're going to go paste in place. Now this one has 2 on it. Then we're going to go Boolean join on those 2. And we're going to go difference. This now gives you the archway so you can see through to the back. Yes, this here will have to be tweaked to be trimmed out here. So we go apply. So now this is what you have now. You have your archway starting to go backwards. So while we're here, we're going to spin around the back here, and we're going to go to the rear back, to the 0 plane, and we're going to deselect everything, get the all but the backmost one. We're going to go cut, up arrow once, paste in place, deselect, select all but the backmost one, cut, up arrow once, paste in place, deselect, select all but the backmost one, cut, up arrow once, paste in place, deselect, select all them, and go cut, up arrow, paste in place, and we go deselect, select all but the last one, backmost one, we go cut, up arrow, and we go paste. And these 2 here, while they're selected, they're on the last 2, which is the 1.25 from the back. You go Boolean join, difference, apply. So here's where we have the 2 arched 180. So when it's opened, it's like that, shut like that. And the thing is, coming down the 1/4 inch each time, your card will, when it's shut, they will be all not pointing outside the top of the card. They're all at an even spacing. They've all come out and down a 1/4 inch. So if you come out, say a 1/2 inch, and then just take it in a 1/4 inch, then you'll start upping and coming out the top of the card. So here's where we are now. We're on the rear back. Now it's a matter of, we go to the auto quad, and we're going to go to the rear bottom, and we're going to go up to the first one. Now, this is where I first got confused. When I went up to the first bottom, I see this line here as well. Don't pick that one. What we're going to do, I'll pan up here. What we're going to do is we've got to take our anchor from this just to this arch, not back to there. I learnt my lesson. Okay, so you click here and you click out to here, not to here, to here. Now the reason I'm saying this is because I did it 3 times and I want you to learn from my mistakes and not do it. So we go click here, that's the anchor for that. Hold the Control Shift, go up to the next one. See, as you go up, you see the 2 of them, but you're only going to this first arch. Click here, click here. See, and you've got two dotted, that dotted and that dotted blue, but you want the inner one. And the same here, you can go out that far or into the middle one. You want the smaller one. So you're working on this front yellow line here, not the back yellow line. You go click here, up to the next one. We go click here, and then we go up to the last one and we go click here, and we go click to the back of the card. So here's what we have now. So we have our arched anchors. So when the card is put together, it all pulls down and pulls them up retrospectively. Okay, now we're going to go to the front bottom, and I'm going to pan around here. Let's hit the panic button, see if that takes me there. Yes, it does. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in, and we'll work backwards. Still on the auto quad. Click there, and I made a mistake. Click there and click there. Then we Control Shift down. You move it into your view so you can see the lines easier. And the good thing is these, as they come forward, these get smaller. So it gives it a bit of a shaping. And then we have our card. So it has its anchors. Now, what's next left to do is we go to the rear back and we go to this one. All you're left to do is put something joined into here so you can see it. Now, in my case, and I'll show you on this, but you're quite welcome to use anything. I am using my robot. Now, when you put on the black on the back plane, it comes upside down. That's easy fixed. You just flip it this way. Now, I'm going to give him a shadow of I'll do a drastic one. Accept, and then I'm going to pan it around, and what you do is you take the whole lot of that and you resize it in here so it fits. And the idea is you take the snapping off. The idea is you've got to have some of your image just overlapped your last arch that we did the bullion join on. Okay, so these are overlapped on this side and it's overlapped this one on this side. Bring it to the top so we can just see. Yes, it's all overlapped. So now what I'll do is I'll select, move him aside, and I'll just make sure I trim the bottom of this little guy, and we'll put him, make sure he's in the center and down the bottom. He's on the bottommost plane. So then what I do is I lasso those two pieces and I go around. So there is your robot connected to the last one. We take this, we cut that, because we know that's the perfect size for in here for print and cut. We cut that, we take that over to make the cut, we drop it in make the cut. Now what we do, we go back to make the pop-up card studio, and what we have here is our card. Already, we haven't done a print preview, so I'll do a print preview. It takes a while. Right. So we have our score lines down here, our score lines up here. The only thing we don't have is when you cut it, you'll have this little score line here. There's got to be a little tiny cut line there and a little tiny cut line there. And of course you don't need these outer cut lines of this side and that side down to this point here. So we close that. So you have these score lines down here. We close that. Come on. And then we go export, save as SVG. And we go and we just call it something, and then we go over to make the cut, and we bring in that SVG, and here we have our card, and this is the robot that I would then do a print and cut on that there. But at the moment I'm going to close and lock that, and what I'm going to do is first off do some of that tweaking which I mentioned at the start of the program, taping. So first off I'm going to click on that and push the delete key. Click on this side and push the delete key, and those ones down to this center line. This one here, delete. This one here, delete. And I'm also going to delete this very top score line, because I'm going to make this a 5.5 inch card by 5.5 inch card. So I'm going to delete that one. Delete. Now I'm going to get my scissors. I'm going to make sure, no, I'm going to not get my knife yet. I'm going to select this and make sure it's on a plane of y-axis of 5, so I can put the snapping on and cut perfectly across here. So now I'm going to get my knife, snapping of 1/2 inch, chop across here. Holding the control key down, I just cut across there. Then I'm going to go here. This is a good tip. No, go to the select tool, go to each its own, click on this one, do a break, and click on this one and do a break. The reason I say do that now before you move it is because you have to move your score lines as well as your cut lines when we're moving this apart. So now we off click that and we select all of these bottom ones with their score lines, and we move that up alongside our other one. Put the snapping back on, not snapping. So we'll take this just out from it. Now, the other thing is we have to now join these top up here and down here. So this 180-degree pop-up is now in 2 pieces, so I can cut it bigger as a 5x5 card. And if we zoom in, holding the control, we zoom in very far here. I'm going to go delete this one, delete this one. Because being that they were score lines, but we're going to make them cut lines in a couple of seconds. And we do the same on the other one, just the 2 very outside little tiny ones. Select this very outside little tiny one and this outside very little tiny one. Because that was a score line, we're going to put it on the cut line layer. So we're going to lock the cut lines and close the cut lines. Then we're going to go back to the pencil. We're going to join these up here and here, and here and here. So they turn into solid cut lines. And we'll go back to the select tool and we'll see what we have. I'll turn these back on now. So what we have is, this is one set which will fit on a normal size cardstock, and it'll still be 5x5. Now you're quite welcome if you're using a 12x12, this is fine. Now what I did is I also put them closer together and I tweaked them to make the whole, I selected art, the whole lot plus your stamped image, and I just made them, nope, select your stamped image as well, select all, then you resize it to the size you want, whether it be smaller, bigger, or whatever. Right, so that's going to fit. Now, the trouble I had is I didn't want to cut it on a 12x12 card, so that was easy fixed. On the score lines, I just took these score lines, put them on their own layer. Then I took these score lines, put them on their own layer, cleaned up, and I just made sure that I called them the right ones. So these ones come down, and these are the score lines for this one here. This one here is for this one here, and this is the score lines for this. Now we just put the robot in place. Whether you put the robot on here in place and do a print and cut, it's entirely up to you. When I say robot, anything that you put on there, like bunny rabbit, a Father Christmas, an angel, whatever you put in there. My husband said, why didn't I put a tree or flower in there? Because I didn't want to. Mine's got to be robots. Then you change this to white, and that will be, change this to black, and that one will be a print and cut, print preview. And of course you had to put this on the top layer, so then when you did a print preview, the robot's there, ready to be print and cutted. So that's how you make this card. I'd love to see what you all do with this card. Of course, I backed mine with white. You could back yours with any other colour. Bear in mind that the inside base of this card will be the colour that you back it with. This has been Susan Blue Robot at susanbluerobot.com. If you have any questions about this video or any other video, or you have a request to see anything made, please don't hesitate to contact me or leave me a message, and I'll do my best to help out. Thanks for visiting. Bye for now. Oh, if you would like to purchase Make the Cart or Pop-Up Card Studio, if you follow links from my blog, you'll help support my blog and get new toys to play with, so I can expand my video and my cards. Thanks for visiting. Bye for now. Bye.